everybody again. We've got a quorum, so we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see, the first order of business is to approve the minutes from the June 7th, 2023 MPO Policy Board meeting.
So moved.
You have a motion and a second? You have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Item number 3 is open public comment period for the final 2024 Unified Planning Work Program, or the UPWP. Motion to close.
I'll make it.
Motion to close, you have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Public meeting is closed.
You know, that's the best kind of public comment period you can have, is when everybody agrees to disagree.
Agree, that's right. Who's supposed to vote on that? I can't even remember all that. Anyway, item number 4, adopt resolution 2323 to approve the final FY 2024 Unified Planning Work Program, or the UPWP.
This is basically the same document that we went over in draft form back in June. It has been out for a public comment for 30 days. I know I informed y'all that it would probably be August, first week of August, before we had another meeting. But there's an item on the agenda, actually item number 7, that needs to be adopted by this board today for outdoor committee. So we moved the meeting up. I checked with Aldon and Montgomery about doing the UPWP and the next item on the agenda, the PIP. At this meeting, they said that it was good to go ahead and do, to go ahead and approve the finals on these. The UPWP more likely will not change. The money and the budget is good in that document, so we should be good on that. And I'll send the tips and then we get to
Okay. We have a motion to approve, adopt resolution 2323.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 2323 carries. Item number 5, open public comment period for the final FY 2024 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program.
Motion closed.
Motion, have a second? Comment period is closed. Moving on to item number 6. Adopt resolution 2324 to approve the final FY 2024 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program.
This is document that's also been out to, for draft and public comment for the 30-day period. If you notice on the tip, it's got the projects listed for fiscal year 24, 25, 26, and 27. This is what we call a living document. It changes every time we come in this room. It'll change today when we pass or when you adopt the next resolution. So money figures are changing in this document each time that the MPO meets. Projects can move inside of that 4 years. In other words, they can move up. If one scheduled to 25 and funded not available, we can move to 26. If it moves outside the tip, it has to have a resolution to make that happen. If it's over a certain money amount, it also has to have a resolution for it to be changed inside the tip, as we're going to look at in the next item. But this document, I know there's probably some projects that'll change in the near future. Transit projects are going to need to be added. Usually the transit down in Montgomery, they have them projects. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 months after the fiscal year. So whenever they add them, we'll come in here. And I know a lot of y'all remember we'll do 4 or 5 transit items at one time. Well, usually the 5307 goes in here. Some of y'all have applied for a transit grant. If you get that grant, this document will be amended to put that project in there also. I think that's 5310. 5309 projects also got there. Any projects that's added, if the MPO goes in and adds a project, I get with Judd, we initiated in the system, I put the project in here, it goes to Judd for approval, and then it goes to, Montgomery for approval. Once all that's approved, it comes back here, I get an email, and then we bring it in front of you for a resolution. I think the last one we added was, maybe the research, no, last one we added was the carbon reduction funds on the lining, across the Tennessee River on the causeway, so that's how that process happened. So, once that process happens here in the MPO, once you approve it, usually the city council or the county commission approve the match to make sure that they have the match. I always make sure that there's a resolution for the match, and then we can make it here and ask for 80%. But this document, like I said, it changes every time we come in here, so doing the final is not going to, doing the final 2 or 3 weeks early is not gonna hurt us.
It's not really the final anyway, because it's
It's
changed.
not really the final, and I really didn't want to have a meeting today and then turn around and have another meeting in August first. I didn't want to have to bring y'all back in a short period of time.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2324. Any, discussion?
Is this the time to discuss some of the, I guess, for the first time information that I've seen on 65 as far as improvements, or do we want to do that at the end of the
On the
meeting?
bridge?
Yeah.
It'd be on the next one. That's the next one we got.
Okay, my bad. I'm looking at it wrong.
Let's see, we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 2324 carries. Item number 7, adopt resolution 2325 to amend the current transportation improvement program to increase funding on the following project: paint and structural repairs on the I-65 bridges over the Tennessee River. Looks like the cost is increased by
19 million.
that basically.
Total cost 30.
18,561,000.
So, I mean, I'll let somebody from Aldott, if y'all want to talk to this, it'll be fine.
I guess I'll add to it. We're trying to get this project authorized to utilize bridge funds out of this fiscal year. And our plans are almost complete. We're trying to get them ready to go through our final review in Montgomery. Since our last meeting discussion we had here last time, we've actually gotten approval from Federal Highway Administration not to do some of the work on the top of the structure. So that will lessen the impact of traffic. Our plan is to try to keep 2 lanes open at all times until we do the patching of the deck area that's bad. At that time, we'll have no option but to go to a 1-lane closure like we have on some of our emergency projects before when we've had spalls in the deck. But that's a limited amount of time compared to the overall project. The bulk of the work can be done from underneath the structure, from the ground, especially on the bridges. And we're taking that into account and trying to determine the contract time, because it's going to be weather sensitive. If he can work from the ground, whether he can get in there if it's flooded or not flooded. So we're at that point now. We're trying to determine the amount of contract time that we're going to put in. But the big news is, based on all the questions that we had and concerns we had about backing traffic up, we're going to limit the number of times that we close it down to 1 lane. Some of the work will be done at night to minimize impacts when we can do it at night. But again, the majority of the overall project can be done underneath. It'll be done by support mechanism that the contractor will construct underneath the bridge structure so that they can move about underneath the bridge and not get there.
Did the scope change at all? I mean, it's a pretty big increase in
Well,
cost.
when the project was originally set up, it was basically set up as a blasting and painting project. But we got into doing our investigations, we found more things that had to be repaired.
So it did.
And we didn't adjust the budget until we got to this point, knowing that until we got it all almost complete, we did not have an accurate number.
The 11.5 number was like from years ago, and just a couple weeks ago, we finally got all the bridge plans. We could run a detailed estimate, which was just under 30. So
It's been in the system probably 10, 12 years.
It has.
It's been a long time.
They just grabbed that 11.5 out of the air back then.
So at no time it'd be completely shut down. It'd be down to one lane sometime.
Our intent is never to have the bridge down.
That's good. That's
really good.
But again, there are some bad areas in the deck surface that have to be repaired. And we do that to shift them.
oh, yeah.
We will shift traffic, but we intend to have 2 lanes at all times and give a work area of about 10 feet that the contractor can get in.
And that's good as long as you got something.
Yeah.
That is really better than what we heard a year or so ago. That's great. That's good job.
Is your 18 months still?
Somehow I knew you were gonna ask that question. But remember, if we say 18 months, it's a lot of work being done, and a lot of it's controlled by weather. We're still trying to determine as best we can and assign the work days to the contract. But 18 months is probably not unreasonable for the overall start to finish mobilization, everything.
And it lets,
We're trying to get it authorized in September. We're looking at the first of the year to actually let it.
So get all your trips made.
It's good. Mr. Chairman,
Anybody else have anything? All right, so we have a motion to adopt resolution 2325.
so moved.
Well, motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 2325 passes. New business. Resolution 2326, we didn't do anything to change the agenda, or we just?
No, we're just doing what
New
we
business,
did.
okay. 2326, is to reflect the decreased cost in, it's the Von Bridge Road project in Hartsville. Decrease it, construction by $83,000. It won't quite make up the 18 million, but it's a step in the right direction.
This is another project. I actually got the documentation Thursday. And when I met with the chairman Friday, we decided to add it. This project's supposed to be in September also, so we need a resolution. These are estimated costs, as is the bridge is estimated cost. At the next meeting, we may come in here and it may be less or it may be more. It all according to what it bid at. But we need to go ahead and approve this to where they can bid that project too.
That's the next intersection improvements on Von Bridge Road and Highway 31 in Hartsville. We have a motion, we have a second? Second. Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion 2326 carried. Mr. Vincent, do you have any updates?
Not really since the last meeting. The bridge has been a big question over here, I guess. The second bridge on 31 up above the intersection near our office up there is still in the works, and we're still gonna monitor this one before we go let a second one to make sure we don't create chaos in traffic.
The railroad bridge.
The railroad bridge, yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else from out?
I just got a question for him. I've been seeing, and I know you have two in the paper a lot where you're going 3 lane on both sides, 6 lane, 65. I just wonder when's that gonna start? I seen the Lieutenant Governor, good question. No. it's just joking.
The whole,
Yeah, the whole thing.
I just say this, we just said we had a project that was $30 million to rehab a bridge. If you did a 6-lane, that bridge would have to be replaced. The cost of that bridge alone would eat up all the money that we have coming for years and years.
Wow.
Sounds good, though.
Sounds great.
I won't even start on our end.
It's needed.
And I'll add this too, if you look at the volume of traffic and the number of Alabama residents from here to the state line, it's a smaller percentage than you would think of the overall traffic. A lot of people coming in the state, leaving the state. And I say that in, for the cost to do that, to add the lanes, you're really not maximizing your dollars, because that's gonna take away from money from these other projects around. And if you can't get to the interstate to use it.
I'm maybe getting on it. That'll be busy tonight, I know, because, Powerball 650 million. So it'll be busy going out there tonight. Tomorrow. it
Well,
may
if
be
you
back
win
down.
it tonight, and you wanna donate, that'll be a first step. But you have to go back every week and win it too.
I appreciate you inviting me to participate.
Well, maybe you just 6-lane in Coleman County. That seems to be where it bottlenecks.
We have a project in our system to look at doing some addition down in Coleman area.
Dodge City must be just some, it's every day you read that there's been a bad accident down
You got some tight right of way when you go through, you go off the mountain there. And when you get traveling at those high speeds that close together, it can be difficult.
Well, we appreciate what y'all do.
Yeah, just got a couple of things. I know a lot of y'all will be involved in the bridge study. It's coming up. We've got a public meeting scheduled for August 17th, where we meet with a lot of y'all before that. I've got to get them scheduled. Stakeholder groups and elected officials and Aldott before the meeting on the 17th. But should have some alignments, preferred alignments by the 17th for the bridge study. Also, next MPO meet we have, we'll probably be bringing some technical stuff in here. We're having to redo some data, some TAS zones, and we're also doing some stuff with the urbanized area where we have to smooth the lines according to Federal Highway Administration. We'll bring that in here and explain it. We've also got a function to classify a couple of roads. We'll bring that in here and make sure y'all are okay with it before we send that to Federal Highway to get their approval. But a lot of stuff going on between now and the 1st of September. But we'll bring that back in here. I don't know when we're gonna have another meeting, but maybe October, maybe November. We'll do that again.
Curtis, what about the widening of 565 where it bottlenecks to?
We're on track to have it ready by the end of the year also, ready to go to contract. Actually saw some bridge information come in today. We've got to widen a couple of bridges there on the interstate. But our design bureau in Montgomery's been handling the design, and we're pushing to get it authorized also.
Say 565.
That's for County Line Road up to Wall Triumph. It's the section that we got, the two, when you get to the flyover there at County Line Road. And it'll continue on up to where you see the town Madison interchange being built right now.
We are ready to award a causeway lighting bid. We've got a grant thanks to the MPO that we need to get authorized.
They're working on an agreement in Montgomery. So hopefully, James, your area working on that. Okay, we should have it before long.
You have a timeline on that?
I'd have to get back with you on that, but I do know that he's working on it.
Okay. That'd be great. If you could give it to Wayne or something.
Anybody else have anything?
Move to adjourn.
Second. Anybody disagree with that?
They just stay if they want to.
We know we have some.
Just a